He's one of the world's top Paralympic sprinters, silver medalist in Beijing. An amputee, Francis Kompaon sprints 100 metres in just 11.1 seconds.
I just want to go and beat this able body, that's it. That was the thing in my mind.
His home of Papua New Guinea is one of the least explored parts of the earth. Despite having only one arm, he's adapted to the tough terrain and earned the respect of the hunters and gatherers who populate these islands.
You have to be physically fit to survive because most of the people survive here, they do like physical work. You know, they have to do it like both hands and legs.
Francis is a hero to his countrymen. He's the first person from Papua New Guinea to ever stand on an Olympic podium. But the rest of the world knows very little about this shy silver medalist. It's a land few Westerners travel to, even fewer guys in wheelchairs. Only by visiting Papua New Guinea will we truly understand where Francis has come from and the massive impact his medal has had on his life and future. We're going via Australia and on to Port Moresby. Papua New Guinea has a wild reputation. Because of recent political unrest, caution is recommended. It's the last of 3 flights. I'm heading to Francis's village on the island of New Britain, a 2-hour plane journey east of Port Moresby. New Guinea feels like a forgotten land. In some parts, cannibalism is still practiced. There are hardly any roads, just one from the airport to where Francis lives. There are no turn-offs for an hour and a half. If we needed a reminder that we're in the third world, this is it. We're travelling on what's been described to us as the good road, but it's 4-wheel drive access only. There's places where it's washed out, there's constant potholes. Just coming in here to this part of the country, it feels like it's barely accessible for someone who's able-bodied, let alone someone with a disability. Francis's home is in the village of Lunga Lunga. It's hard to get a feel of how many people live here. Simple shacks serve as houses, tucked in the bush. Most have no power or running water. They survive on subsistence farming. Francis lives with extended family. His young wife, newborn son, and mum all share a home. Francis is one of very few people with a disability in his village. He was born with a malformed left arm, and the surrounding muscles are wasted. So man, tell me what it was like growing up in the village here with a disability, or growing up in Papua New Guinea with disability.
Growing up with disability is bit hard. People with disability has to struggle for themselves.
There are no services for people with disabilities here. It was just up to Francis's family to do what they felt was best.
The community is going to support the people with disability, and mostly the families and immediate relatives of that person. And yeah.
We've caught Francis before his morning bath, taken in the ocean, rinsed off, using the village well. As a child here, Francis watched other kids climb their first trees with ease, mimicking the men in the village hunting and fishing. But Francis had to find his own way.
During the time when I was a kid, it was just like a challenge. They say that you can't do that, I have to sit back and then think, okay, I can manage that thing by doing this and doing that. So I tried different ways.
Francis was a lean, active child. He rose to the challenge of living with disability. His mum also knew that her son had to keep up with the other kids if he was to survive in this harsh land. What was Francis like when he was growing up?
He was like a person where he pick up things very quickly.
Were you the one pushing him to succeed?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was that part of your parenting?
Yes.
Tell me how you did that.
Because I talk to him kindly and I tell him to do things that he must do it in a way where he can do it. So he always listen to me. He do things that I tell him to do.
What was it like for you when Francis was born?
Nearly everybody, they felt sorry for him because he was born with disabled.
The people in Francis's village have never seen a wheelchair outside of hospital, and my white skin is a novelty. Are they surprised that I work? Yeah.
Yeah, they're saying that. Yeah, they're surprised. They're saying that they're happy about you coming over, and they feel sorry for you.
Oh, really?
Especially, yeah.
They don't need to feel sorry for me. I've got a great life.
Yeah, they were just asking about how much you get paid for, like, you traveling overseas, you pretty much get paid like a month.
Because Francis's village is remote, he had to live away from home to attend high school. He made his own way there each Monday and back home again on a Friday.
It's an all-boys.
The plain relic is one of hundreds in this area. The island was used as a battleground by Japanese and Australians in World War II. It's here that the desire to win first sparked. And this is the track that you actually used to train and compete on?
Yeah, this is the track I competed in and I train in.
The running track was marked up once, but the lanes have long since faded.
In here, we don't have any gyms. It's just basically training on a grass track and going out to the major competitions.
And how does that make you feel, though, that you've achieved without all that support structure, without everything laid on?
Kind of a big achievement. Like, you know, it's running from a grass track and, training on a grass track and then going to an international event like the Paralympics and winning that medal is a great achievement ever in my life. It's just like, I just want to compete. I just want to try to compete with the rest of the world and see how I am fast to the rest of the world and see.
Initially, he ran just to beat the kids in his village. When he got to high school, he entered a school running race. He had no idea how he'd do.
I was telling myself that, Francis, why don't you just go in and try it? Try it. You might have come out to be somebody. Just try it. No, I didn't even think of becoming somebody, but just want to try it out. And they were saying to me that you can't be running a 100 meters because that's too fast and you're one arm. In my mind, I just think, no, I can do it. I ran like a pretty good race. So. And then one afternoon, I raced this way up here. And I got first, 100 meters. And I thought, is this real or just faking? And then all the teachers said, no, Francis, can't be that. You're just joking. You're going to go run again with the other guys, but not your age, some other young, older guys. And then I tried it. And then I got first placing again.
Do you think people underestimate you?
Definitely, yeah. Most of the time in situations where they think that I can't do it, I can't manage that thing, to do that. But I think I can, because I got ways around to handle those things, like the able-bodied people can do that.
Francis has made a rare move into the wider world. Most people born in Papua New Guinea never leave. Lunga Lunga is his village, and Katavat, this is his closest town. And we're here just to check out the markets and see what life's like here. The stained red lips you see everywhere are from chewing betel nut. It's a mild but addictive narcotic. These are mangoes. Mangoes. Yeah, can I buy some? Paying in the local currency, toya for the coins and kina for the notes. But they actually they still trade in shells over here in New Britain. Shells were widely used earlier throughout Papua New Guinea, but New Britain are still using them, so hopefully I might get some shells for change. 60? Okay, 50. Are they good? Yeah, fresh off the tree.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you. All right, that's lunch. 60 toya is about 20 cents and buys me 6 mangoes. Dried coconut meat, called copra, is this village's export and main source of income. Francis was thrust into this work when his father died suddenly. He had to grow up quickly. By the time he turned 16, he was working to support his entire family. It's grueling work with very little reward. At the end of a long working day, he'd take to the track. As his time steadily improved, Paralympics Papua New Guinea took notice. They wanted him to compete, but he didn't even own footwear.
I didn't have any spikes at all. I didn't even have a spike at all. And I was going to travel to another province from here. And then they tell me that, Francis, I think you should have a spike. And the spikes here were sold for about 200 kina, and I can't afford to buy it for 200 kina, so I had to beg my mom, had to go do copra again, get the 200 kina, and I went and I first bought I bought my first spike shoes.
Nobody even wears shoes around here, so no one could understand why Francis would spend the equivalent of 1.5 years' wages, 80 New Zealand dollars, on a pair of spike running shoes. Francis got the break he'd been waiting for in 2006. The Papua New Guinea Commonwealth team heard rumours of his speed and insisted he join their elite team in Melbourne. It was the first time Francis had ever left the country, let alone flown on a plane. He'd spent his entire life trying to prove that he was worth something. Now, he had an opportunity bigger than anything he'd ever imagined. He knew it might change his life, but he had no concept of the world beyond.
Yeah, it was a big culture shock for me. I saw like the big cities. That was the first time to see it. I couldn't believe it. I went there for about no more than 2 weeks. And I stayed there. When I come back, I was like telling stories for 3 to 4 weeks, like almost a month, telling stories to everyone, what I see. The little thing, I was telling them stories about, even the plane itself. I was telling stories about the plane because it was all new to me.
2 years on, he won that Paralympic silver medal.
That was my first Paralympic Games. And also, it's the first ever medal in Papua New Guinea to be in either the Paralympics or the Olympic level, that high level. In Papua New Guinea, no one has ever got a medal, and no one has ever come close to come to the finals. And also, I was qualified on merit into Beijing Paralympics. So it was quite like good achievement. I think in the Paralympics all over the Pacific, I think I'm the first one. So yeah, I'm excited. Had to hear my name in the history here in Papua New Guinea. So yeah.
Having no arm might seem insignificant, but a sprinter's arms are vital for power and balance at high speed. Most of Francis's competitors have either a prosthesis or a longer stump to help with balance. To compensate for his missing arm, Francis has developed an unconscious lean, causing a curve in his spine.
So Francis, it'd be great if you just tell us what muscles you do and don't have.
I do have these muscles on. This one's the back and the shoulder on the right side, but I don't have it on the left side. This one, the one on the top, and at the back.
So you don't wear a prosthetic?
At the moment, if they put a prosthetic in here, I think it's not, like from my own point of view, it's gonna be hard because you have to have a artificial joint and on a prosthetic, and it's gonna be a hard work for me.
So does that put you at a disadvantage to the other runners?
Kind of disadvantage because the other runners now, like most of them are running with prosthetic arms on, and they've been running well and pretty good at it. But it's only a matter of training because I've seen other athletes too. They've been running without prosthetic, but they're still running fast.
Phones are few and far between here, and the internet, forget it. Still, news travels fast. Francis tells us that already news of our visit that we're here filming with him has travelled to the other side of the bay.
When Francis won his medal, news travelled clean across the island. Francis made headlines, but he had no means of telling his wife Milson directly. She had to read about it in the paper.
Where were you and how did you find out?
I was at my father's home. We were in the garden. Then my cousin sister ran up and told me that we saw Francis on a paper. Then I was screaming, "Oh, that's nice." It was amazing.
That 11-second race transformed Francis's life. The government rewarded him with the equivalent of 100,000 New Zealand dollars, allowing him to build a house that's basic by Western standards, but here it's a large home.
And get an elevator in for wheelchair access? Shoulders great. So this is it. This is great, man. I mean, how important is it to be able to provide and build this house for your family?
I like it building this house for my family. Really hard for people with disability in Papua New Guinea to come to the States and build a house like this because you have to have enough money to, but yeah, I tried my best and I just managed to build this house.
His home is just a few unfurnished rooms. There's no kitchen, bathroom or electricity, but it's solid and he's proud.
This society is like the male has to provide for all the families. If you're a father or if you're somebody elder in the family, you have to provide. So a house is very important in the society, so I decided to build one.
He's provided security for his family. The money's also allowed him to attend university. He's studying commerce in Australia. His wife and family remain home in his village.
Were you there when your son was born?
No, I wasn't there. I was in Gold Coast studying, and then they called me that, "Oh, you got a baby boy."
But to take advantage of his success, he's had to sacrifice time with his family and his village life.
Studying now, you'll come out of Australia with a degree. Do you feel pressure to come back here and use your degree?
Of course, yeah. I'm just thinking of coming back to Papua New Guinea, and they still haven't decided which way I'm gonna go.
His heart is here. He'd love to live a simple life here in the village. But there's pressure, and he feels he owes it to his country to take a leadership role in the city.
Do you feel you're a role model?
Yeah, kind of. Role model. There are some people who know me, like people whom I don't know. They can just come up to me and they shook my hand and they want to call my name, and I said, "Okay, yeah."
How's
I
that
just
feel?
I appreciate it, like, oh, cool. I don't feel like somebody up there. No, I'm just want to be humble.
Francis raced in part to change his life, to be the best. But what he didn't realise is the impact his win would have on his country's 7 million people. He is the first and only international medal winner. He's gone from being the kid everyone felt sorry for to a national hero. There's even a serious call for Francis to become a future Prime Minister.
The country are putting their eyes on me. If they see my name, like, oh, okay, Francis is going to this place and probably is going to win a medal. Because they want me to achieve, because I've achieved already something. It's competition. Anybody can win, but the people here, they just want to see good results. There also like people that see me and they just want me to be Prime Minister and Member of Parliament. And I just want to be somebody humble and just an ordinary citizen.
All over the country, Francis is adored. But most of all, they want him to win another medal.
What was it like when he won?
Oh, we were overjoyed, like we were happy for him.
We put our country on the map, on the global scale,
People happy.
We're just happy about
He's a disabled but he can run.
The entire city was on our toes. Yeah, we're very proud that at least somebody from our nation with a disability has put the nation in the world map.
I just don't want to let the country down.
Francis is heading to New Zealand to the IPC World Athletic Champs, being held in Christchurch. It's the most important event before the London 2012 Paralympics.
Be fastened as a precaution should we encounter unexpected turbulence.
He's trying not to focus on the fact his family, village, and entire nation have great expectations. He ran a personal best of 11.1 seconds in Beijing 2 years ago. He now has to run faster to win a medal here in Christchurch, to qualify for the London Paralympics, and maintain the life he now leads. His competitors are part of large delegations with their own physiotherapists, sports psychologists, and other support staff. Francis has just an Australian-based coach and that trusty pair of spike shoes. Francis is ranked number 1 going into this race.
When athletes line up on the track, the only thing that separates them are the lanes they're in and the flag of their country on their chest.
But now we understand just how diverse their backgrounds are. There's tremendous pressure for him to perform. A humble guy who's somehow become a hero. It was his best race of the season, but he crosses the line in 5th place. The Brazilian winner sets a world record of 11.01 seconds. Francis hasn't qualified for London this time. He'll have his work cut out for him in the next 12 months, if he's going to make it to the Paralympics.
So how do you feel?
Not really well, because I missed out on just hoping for something good, but yeah, that happened. Like, people ran really fast and I just came in like that.
After his disappointing finish, he returns home to his village, with less fanfare this time. It's a short break before university begins, and he's back into his tough training schedule. The competition is sharper than expected, but his motivation is strong. Sport is the ticket to his bold new life.